One of the many things you've written about in this book and elsewhere is the environment. Is there a kind of strategy to put people back to work by investing in the next generation of clean technology? Has it gone beyond a point of no return? And does that have political legs? You would think that would be the most obvious thing in the world. Let's invest in deferred infrastructure, create good jobs, put people back to work, have a green transition. Why doesn't that argument have more political legs?
So you raise a number of issues. Let me try to parse it out into a couple parts. First, the United States right now can borrow at a negative real interest rate. Real interest rate is the interest rate minus the rate of inflation. So it's the real cost of capital is this real interest rate. The United States can borrow at a negative real interest rate. We have lots of investments in technology, infrastructure, education, that pay very large returns, 20, 30, 40%. If you were a business saying you had these opportunities to borrow at a minus, not just zero, but a negative number, and you have returns like that and you didn't invest, everybody would say you're stupid. But the US is not doing that. So the question in part is why? And I think it's, again, coming back to a theme, it's the politics. Anybody who's really interested in the strength of the U.S. would say, okay, if you borrow, every firm borrows when they have a good investment opportunity. The asset side of the balance sheet goes up more than the liability because of the value, the return you're going to get on those investments. But unfortunately, the conservatives would rather see a weak economy and a weak government than they see the government actually deal with some of the problems that we're facing in almost a costless way. So that's the underlying problem. And anybody who comes into New York City knows the problem of the lack of infrastructure in New York. So I can testify on that particular point. Climate change is, I think, a real issue. And it's the consequences are becoming not only more imminent, but increasingly more irreversible. That is to say, the extent of climate change, global warming, it's not just global warming, because it's also weather variability, hurricanes and extreme events are related to the concentration of the greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, in the atmosphere, and that's been going up. You look at those charts, it's going up every year. And so it's going to become more and more difficult to put a cap on that. Now, this is where you can see a way in which our economy has really gone astray. Talk about innovation. What do we really need innovation to do? We need innovation to protect the planet, to save the planet. What are our firms doing, our short-sighted firms? What they're doing is innovation that creates more unemployment. We don't need more unemployed people. We do need to protect the environment. So how are they doing that? Now, all of you have probably seen this. You go into a grocery store, or you go into a drugstore, and you have an automatic teller. One of these machines, very expensive, but, and this goes back to the Fed as one of the major institutions, what has it done? It's lowered interest rates to close to zero. That means the cost of capital for those firms, usually big firms that can get access to capital, becomes very low. And what we're doing is increasing unemployment and ensuring that we have a almost jobless recovery. So in a way, it illustrates how a mismanaged economy can simultaneously not address the problem of climate change and create more inequality. Now, if we were doing the right thing, this would be a great time to invest in climate mitigation, to make the investments to improve insulation. Clearly, this building needs better insulation. We need to restructure our cities, our public transportation. We have to move away from automobiles to more public transportation. There are an enormous number of things that we could do, profitable investments, that would create more employment, drive up wages, reduce inequality, and enhance the environment and our future. But unfortunately, that's not where we're going.